Hey there. Excuse me. So I wanted to kind of go through step by step what you need to do with the social media claim and counterclaim in order to make sure that you understand step by step how to go through it. And then I just wanted to address some of the common problems that are coming up with the responses that I've been getting. So I'm going to start from the beginning and then just kind of take you through step by step. So first of all, your assignment is to use this article here that's called Social Media Affects Teen Mental Health by Sherry Gordon. You're supposed to use this article in order to refute this claim. Okay, so you are to use the article, that's really big, to refute the claim. So I want you to note that I've given you the claim already, so you don't need to go looking for another claim. There we go. You don't need to go looking for another claim. All of the information that you need is already here. So the claim says that in Melissa Healy's article, teenage social media butterflies may not be such a bad idea. She argues that children who use social media are So your answer is the main claim of the quote that I've already given you, this claim right here. And so the main claim of this quote would be that it says, in fact, children most likely to spend lots of time on social media sites are not the least well-adjusted but the healthiest psychologically, suggests an early but accumulating body of research. So the main point of this claim is that children who spend lots of time on social media are the healthiest psychologically. Okay, so I notice a lot of people try to write down where it says are not the least well-adjusted. That's awkward wording, and I don't expect you to use those particular words in your analysis, but use the words that actually do make sense, or at least that are more simple, and that would be that what's the healthiest psychologically. All right, so what you're doing is you're disagreeing with this quote because all of the current research shows that teens who use social media are not healthy psychologically. It shows that they are actually having all kinds of problems. So let's take a look here and see what kinds of claims are made before we even start writing. So you've already read this, right? This wouldn't be your first read as you're going through. And so what you're doing now is you're going through and highlighting those points that support your refutation, right? Your rebuttal for the claim that the kids who use social media are the healthiest psychologically. So first of all, I want to point out that the article begins with some facts. And I want to point out the difference between claims and facts, right? So a claim is something that can be argued against. It's an argument that needs to be defended. Facts are things that have been established. So here are 3 facts. Number 1, 51% of teens visit social media networking sites on a daily basis. Next, more than a third of teens visit their main social networking site several times a day. And then finally, 1 in 4 teens is a heavy social media user using at least 2 different types of social media each day. So I want to point out to you that these are facts and not claims. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go through and look for claims that have been made about social media, and we're looking for specifically, we are looking for claims that show why the statement that kids who use social media are the healthiest psychologically are false. So we're looking for claims that do not support this claim here. So we're looking for the opposite of this. And we're going to look for that down here in our article. So going through the article, we've already read it. So now I'm going to go back and just kind of scan. And so then I can see here something that might be important, where it says that teen brains become activated by likes on social media, sometimes causing them to want to use social media more. We can also see here that researchers see a correlation between social media and peer influence, which can be good or bad, I guess, depending on the types of influences that are around, that the teens have around. Also, another claim here is that it can affect mental health by creating space for teens' brains to become more vulnerable, making it difficult to self-regulate their times and making them more susceptible to peer pressure, okay, and like negative peer pressure. That too much time online also can cause the development of health issues. So again, remember that we are refuting the claim that time online means that kids are the healthiest psychologically. So down here, we're looking at ways in which a lot of time online does not lead to a healthy psychological life. So we also see here that too much time online can cause depression. And right here, it says that studies have shown that prolonged means a long time, a lot, of social media can be related to signs and symptoms of depression, as well as low self-esteem. We also see here that too much time online can cause anxiety because people are trying to keep up with all of their friends. We can see that it can cause sleep deprivation, and sleep deprivation can lead to moodiness, a drop in grades, overeating. We see that a lot of time online can cause envy. We see that it can also cause communication issues, causing friendships to suffer. So these are the claims that I've gone through and highlighted. So now that I've highlighted all of my claims, I can go back and look at my sentence frames and figure out exactly how I want to fill those out. And also, before we do that, let's take a look at the do's and don'ts. So remember, you're going to begin with the original claim. Okay, so this is the original claim, and I've set it up for you here. You're going to mention the title of the article and the author. So I've given you the author here. Her name is Melissa Healy. I've given you the title. You're going to use direct quotes, which we'll use down here, and you're going to proofread. Finally, you're going to make sure that you're not writing down the entire quote. You're going to only choose parts of the quote that answer your question directly, and make sure that you add in your conclusion. So in our first paragraph here, it says, in Melissa Healy's article, Teenage Social Media Butterflies May Not Be Such a Bad Idea, she argues that children who use social media are the... Okay, so we needed the main claim of the quote. Well, her main claim of her quote is that these children who use social media are the healthiest psychologically. Right, so I'm just going to type that in there. Okay, so then the next section here, you're writing from your personal experience. I do not agree with the statement. What statement are you disagreeing with? You're disagreeing with the statement that kids who spend a lot of time on social media are the healthiest psychologically. So I do not agree with this statement because I have seen that. And so right here, you are going to type in your own personal experience. So I have seen that kids who spend a lot of time on social media tend to not express themselves very well, that they tend to be more aggressive, that they tend to be meaner, that they don't pay attention to what's going on around them. So whatever you want to write here, whatever comes from your personal experience, that's what you write here. So here I just wrote that kids who spend a lot of time on social media are mean. Okay, so I'm just being silly here, but I'm just showing you how to fill that in. So I do not want to see that in your actual answer. All right, so then the next part of the paragraph, remember this is all one paragraph. This is where you're going to start getting evidence from the article that we just went through and highlighted and pulled out our claims from. In fact, current evidence shows. So now you're going to use evidence from the new article. So current evidence shows, and you have lots of evidence you can choose from. Current evidence shows that teen brains become activated by likes, making them want to use social media more. Current evidence shows that researchers see a correlation between social media and peer influence. Current evidence shows that teens become more susceptible to peer pressure. Current evidence shows that too much time on social media can cause depression and low self-esteem. Current evidence shows that social media can cause anxiety, sleep deprivation. So all of these things are what you are going to type here. And when you type it in, what I want you to do is make sure that you are flowing from one sentence to the next. So if it says, in fact, current evidence shows, then I want you to complete the sentence. So it shows that children who spend lots of time on social media are more susceptible to fits of crying. Period. Okay, so the reason that I wrote this, if you notice, this statement was not in the article, but I'm using this particular statement because I want you to go into the article and find your own statement. Okay, so that's why I made up this ridiculous statement here, but you've got to pull your evidence from the actual article below. You can't make things up. All right, so after reading the article, so the article is this article here. So after reading the article, social media affects teen health. By, and then here you put the author's name, by Sherry Gordon. I have come to understand that social media can, and again, this is where you put your evidence from the article. So I have come to understand that social media can, and again, we're going to go back to our claims, can cause sleep deprivation, can cause envy, can cause communication issues. So right here, you're going to type in a claim from the article below. And then in the next section, it says the article goes on to explain that teens who spend a lot of time on social media risk. What does the article say that they risk? And so if you scroll down, it tells you specifically that they risk, for example, they can risk their mental health, risk falling into depression, risk anxiety, risk sleep deprivation. They can risk getting sick, becoming envious, developing communication issues. So all of these things are risks. So again, you're going to type in your claim just like before, you're going to type in your claim from the article below. And then finally, your conclusion. Therefore, not only is the original statement outdated, it is. And so here you're going to put in a combination of your opinion and your support, and your opinion and support from the article. So this particular part is all, what do you think? Can you put it all together? The original statement is outdated. It's harmful. It does not relate to what is happening in the world today, because the article clearly shows, and then talk about what the article clearly shows. Okay, so so here you talk about why the article is outdated, and also talk about what the article shows with regard to teenagers and social media. So that is your conclusion. And then your final task is to rewrite or retype the entire paragraph in the space below, leaving out the helper things. So you don't write the things that are in parentheses, like main claim of the quote, title, author. You don't write those things down, but what you do is you take this information and then you create a paragraph so that somebody can read it. So that is it. So if you have any further questions about this, let me know, but please do use this to revise the paragraph that you have written. And that's it.